Okay. I'm going to try to get us pulled out here a little bit. Come on. Okay, we can see edges of the page there. I'm going to try to go through how we did this stage of the drawing. So I'm going to start clean. Clean sheet. And I'm using my drafting dots. Tape this thing down. What I like to do is, raise those corners up so I know it's parallel. It's parallel, perfectly parallel to my straight edge. Get a couple of dots on the bottom. Okay, and we're ready to roll. So I'm going to start with drawing a line right down the center of the page using my blue lead at 8.5 inches, using my big triangle, 30-60 triangle, so I can get a line that goes all the way through the page. I'll do that the other way as well. It's going to be 5.5 inches, right? 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17 page. So there we go. These are going to be now my vanishing points right at the edge of the page. Those are my 2 vanishing points. So now I need to determine the scale of the drawing and the grid itself so that I can draw that space fairly effectively. So I'm going to start by drawing tick marks along the vertical line, and I'm going to do them at 3/8 of an inch equals a foot. So I'm going to do it at every 1/8 of an inch, and I'll do it on as much of the page as I can. So I'm going to set that right about there and do them at every single 1/8 of an inch. Sorry, at every single 3/8 of an inch. So that's all of those marks. Then I'm going to extend a couple of those marks, but I'm going to do just every other one. So it's almost like, I'm giving myself a ruler that I can scale off of as I do the rest of the drawing. Like that. And the way that I've scaled those are going to be every 2 feet. These big ones. Each of these marks is going to be every foot. Every foot. But I'm just going to make these little marks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16. And I'll come back down here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. Oops, I messed that up, didn't I? 10, 12, 14. Just so I can kind of keep track of what I'm doing there, just so that I know those are every 2 feet. You don't have to put those numbers in if you don't want. I'm just putting those in as reference. So then I want to draw a baseline down here to get the horizontal dimensions. So I'm going to draw it down. I'm just going to do that baseline dimension at this mark. The truth is, it can be anywhere. But I'm just going to draw it down here just so that it's down there. And those tick marks, to get the same dimension in a 2-point perspective space, is going to be at a different spacing than these. So we could still say that the overall drawing begins at 3/8 inch equals a foot at that scale. But the tick marks that go along this side, we're basically looking at them at a 45-degree angle in real space when we vanish this to 2 points. So it's almost like we're looking at straight on, and these are at a 45-degree angle, right? It's like if you take a cube and look at it straight on, you turn it 45 degrees, that's what we're looking at. That's how we're drawing in space right now. So we have to look at this as though it's the other side of a triangle, and it's going to be the short side of the triangle, because we're looking in space. We turn that cube, we're looking in space like this, where that 45 is here. We're shortening that 45 back to vanishing points so that we can get a better representation of what it feels like when we see it in space. But it'll be the short leg of it. The short leg of it is, if you do the math on it, it's somewhere over 3/4 of what it would be the other way. So for ease, that's not exact. That's not the simple math. But for ease, we'll do this at 1/2 inch, which is this is 3/8, this is 1/2 inch. So that ratio is close enough to accurate for us. So I'm going to do along that baseline a tick mark every 1/2 inch. Like that. But now I know that so I'm going to do this again too, draw a couple of these, every other line a little bit longer. So what I know is that the size of that space, so now what I want to do is I want to draw the cube, right? I want to draw the basic cube of the space that we're in. I want to set my horizon line somewhere between, 4 to 6 feet off of the ground, the floor of that space. So I'm going to be somewhere in here with how that is. And I'll just do it, since I did it the way, this is how I did it on the other drawing, I'll do it this way at 6 feet again. So the bottom is going to be at 6 feet where that intersects back to the vanishing point. Same on the other side. Back to that vanishing point. Now to figure out the top, I know that it's 18 feet high. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Which will make sense, right? That's 12 plus 6, 18 feet total. That's the top and the bottom of that cube. So how do I get the sides, right? So I know that the center, this is the middle line of that cube. Drew that off a little bit. That cube. So how do I get these lines, right? How do I determine how far back to go? I need to use that base dimension, right? And I know that the sides are 22 feet long. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I'm obviously, I don't have quite enough space on the page to be able to do this. So I need to keep going off the page with those marks until I get to 22. And I'm just going to bend my camera a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do. I've drawn this line and I've extended it past. And then I'm still at that 1/2 inch scale. Here's my 1/2 inch scale. And I'm at 16 feet right here, right? So this is 18, 20, 22. That, I'm moving off the screen here, aren't I? But 22, here, let's see if I can do this. Right there, 22. And I'm going to do the same on the other side after I show you how I construct this line. So you need a really long straight edge to pull this off, right? I need to go from this vanishing point all the way down to here. The way I'm going to do this is to use my 30-60 to get me part way, my 45 to get me the rest of the way. And I'm lining up that 22-foot tick mark way over there with my vanishing point. And then I'm going to draw that line. Like that. Now going the other way, it's going to be a little easier. I don't necessarily have to dimension all the way on the other side because I know since we're right at that center line, it's going to intersect right here. So I can just connect here to here, vanishing point to that center point. And I can do that. So you can see what I'm starting to do now is draw the floor of our space down here, down at this base 0 point for this base measurement line. So as long as we're starting at that point, then these measurements will work out. So I can now draw this line and this line, which gives me the floor right here. That's the floor of my space. And these 2 points where these intersect, that's how I can project up. I can bring those up. And now I've got the basic cube of my space. It's right here. And I can now project back to the vanishing points to get the ceiling space in there. Like that. And that's the space, right? So it's almost like we're looking into it now. It's sort of an X-ray view of it. I can also do marks at different heights, right? So this is going to be 2 feet, 4, 6, 8. So the top of the benches are right there. And I can just start to lay out those basic lines. And I can even project from here back to there, right? So I can get that whole the top of the bench all the way through to the back of the space. Like that. So you see how these planes are kind of moving up in 3D space. This is the basic cube right here. This is our floor, our ceiling. We've got top of bench, and we've got the overall shape. So that's all we need to get to for now. And I will pause the recording.